Today, the Treasurer set out to reassure home buyers that the great Australian dream was still within reach. Instead, he left some wondering whether he was out of touch with voters. While outlining his government's crackdown on foreign buyers who wrought the system, Joe Hockey dismissed concerns about property prices, saying if Sydney real estate was unaffordable, then nobody would be buying it. And the Treasurer offered this tip for young home buyers struggling to break into the market.
The starting point for a first home buyer is to get a good job that pays good money. If you've got a good job and pays good money and you have security in relation to that job, then you can go to the bank and you can borrow money, and that's readily affordable, more affordable than ever.
The opposition jumped on the Treasurer's choice of words.
The Treasurer's only response is to lecture Australians about getting a better job. Well, I think this is up there with poor people don't drive cars in terms of an out-of-touch comment from an out-of-touch Treasurer.
At his media conference, Mr Hockey revealed the Foreign Investment Review Board is investigating almost 200 overseas purchases of Australian homes. Those who break the rules face fines of more than $100,000 or up to 3 years jail. Yet, according to the NAB, in the first 3 months of this year, 1 in 5 homes sold in New South Wales was bought by a foreign investor, many of them Chinese. The ABC's Hui Fern-Tay joined the Beijing buyers out to grab a piece of the Australian property market.
It's one of the biggest property bazaars on the planet. Thousands of cashed-out buyers in Beijing and real estate spruikers from across the world going to all sorts of lengths to attract them. Australia is one of the main draw cards.
We found that there's a large demand in China for clients who want to invest in Australia. So we moved to China a few years ago.
We would expect to have between 1,000 and 2,000 people that sit down with us and actually learn about Perth and come to the seminars that we hold and even come to the exhibition at the rear of us.
Property exhibitions like this happen very often in Beijing. In fact, there's another going on simultaneously downtown, only promoting Australian real estate.
The depreciation of the Australian dollar against the yuan is helping to attract Chinese buyers. Foreign investors aren't allowed to purchase existing properties, but they can buy off the plan. They are being drawn to new developments in Sydney and Melbourne, where the going price is $500,000 to $1 million.
I think Melbourne property prices are okay. I've got a villa already. I'm preparing to buy an apartment.
For her, buying in Australia is a family affair.
My daughter lives in Australia. She stayed on after graduating from university. That's why I want to invest in property over there.
One of the trends is, or the main trend that with the Chinese buyers is most of them have a single child, so they tend to invest offshore where that child's gone to university or where they've settled. So they tend to, the money follows the family as such.
So Monika, how long has this property been here for?
It's been on the market for about just over 3 weeks.
This is the other end of the market, a $20 million Sydney mansion. It's an existing property, but foreigners can purchase it if they migrate to Australia on a significant investment visa. Monika Tu is the go-to agent for Chinese millionaires and has already shown several of them around the property.
I think last a few years because of the government changed their visa system, so they welcome more foreign investors to come in. So we see more and more high net worth Chinese.
But not all foreigners who buy existing property are playing by the rules, and the federal government has announced it will start cracking down on them. Foreigners who buy properties illegally will face hefty fines and jail time. And for the first time, real estate agents who help them will also be fined.
We expect it to pass through the Senate and be fully in place by the 1st of December. From that time on, significant penalties will apply to any foreign citizen who has unlawfully purchased residential real estate in Australia.
And that's not the only change. Hong Kong and Singapore used to be the go-to places for Chinese investors, but large fees on foreign investment have reduced their appeal. Now Australia is set to tentatively follow suit. Victoria is going to hit foreign investors with an extra 3% stamp duty, while the federal government will make them pay a fee of around 1%. David Miller from the real estate company CBRE believes the impact will be minimal.
I don't think it's a big issue. I think it's more that the government sort of responds with knee-jerk reactions again to sort of public feeling rather than thinking about, you know, broader thought-out policy and how they're going to deal with offshore investment. And the real problem in Australia is the lack of effort, I think, by local and state government in being able to fast-track approvals and supply. If there was more supply, that would, to meet demand, I think that'd help. That'd be really effective in making property more affordable and I'll say reducing the rate of growth.
Some analysts say the new fee is too small to have any impact. For example, it will only increase the price of that $20 million mansion by $200,000.
And now, you know, because of exchange rate is getting a bit lower, so I think we have a lot of, you know, overseas, you know, buyers coming, and particularly for this property, we have like over 30 groups of people.
China is still generating an enormous amount of wealth. It's expected around 1.2 million people will be millionaires in the country by the end of 2017. All of them are looking for ways to make even more money. Buying Australian property is just one way of doing that.